we doing?
What are you doing?
Thumbnail.
Yep.
Maria and Nico were moving the boat Carl, and so I went down to the pontoon to see if I could lend a hand.
Okay, go ahead.
It was a pleasure to give a lady a leg up.
Yeah.
Problem is they got a stern anchor down here that they got to pull out at a different angle. They couldn't get it while they were here. It was all good entertainment watching the guys trying to get the anchor out. Eventually I had to borrow a neighbour's paddleboard and go out and help them. It's only the second time I've ever been on a paddleboard, so I left the camera safely on shore, so I didn't get to film that bit. I'm not just showing you the message board, which is actually where I write a lot of things down that I need to do. What I'm actually showing you is what's behind. This is my new acquisition. This is an ICOM 70 something or other. Those that know these things will know what it is. It's a radio ham, single sideband, what have you, amateur radio, doobly thingy, what's me call it. And on top of that's my dad's old, that's SWR, a signal meter so you can check out if your aerial's doing okay. Yeah, it's all a learning curve. I've got it on a swivel there, so that swivels out so I can get to it. And when I don't need it, it goes back and it's anchored down. I've got an extension speaker and microphone and stuff in there. Yes, so I'm learning that I've got to learn how to use the damn thing. It's not just like a normal radio. While on the subject of radios, there's the old VHF, semi-retired, and the new one all installed up here, nice shiny white, and it works nicely, thank you very much. With the new radio, I had to make an aerial. You're supposed to have what they call an aerial tuner, so the thing electronically tunes the aerial to the radio. All complicated stuff. That's my first little effort. The problem I've got is communicating with people at sea. The VHF radio that I have, the proper marine band radio, just works line of sight, 20 miles, 25 miles. With this rig up, with the amateur radio, the SSP, whatever you call it, it's got so many names. I'm just learning all this stuff really. My dad used to do it, and I've got some of his books that I'm reading at the moment to try and bone up on it. When this aerial thing is up, hopefully I'll be able to communicate with some people over long range. You're supposed to have a license for some of the bands. I don't, so I'll be on, there's a few bits of the airwaves one can use without a license when you're in the sea. But basically it's really for listening out and getting weather forecasts, because when I'm at sea I won't have any weather forecasting capabilities at all. So no internet, nothing. And the work goes on. The next job is to fill all the deck containers. I've been told that out in the Pacific Islands, fuel and water is not always readily available, so it's best to take as much with you as you can. I hadn't had the mainsail up for quite a while, so I thought it was probably a good idea just to see if the thing still went up the mast or not. Just closing up because it's starting to rain out there. You catch me at the end of a couple of hard days of work. That's great. I'm working. Barry, you've been working? Yes, I've been working. I was under the boat yesterday, most of it, which was great to actually get in the water. I had a problem with my foot that's been plaguing me for a month. That's kind of okay now. So back to stuff, back to work. Removing a lot of stuff under the boat. I couldn't turn the propeller shaft, and I couldn't move the rudder. That's how bad the incrustations were. So I decrustated it all, which is nice. Got the fan on there, keeping us cool. Got an awful lot of stuff done today. Done some Patreon stuff for my patrons, saying hi to a few of the guys. Hi guys. And also edited 2 videos this week. So it's all good. And the reason for that is because I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. The boat, I haven't been here all the time, so I've been in Britain a lot of the time, some of the time. But the boat has been here. Poor old Shaddy's been sat at this pontoon since nearly 6 months. That's bad, isn't it? 6 months. So it's raining and miserable out here. So it's time to relax. Now when I was back in England, the first thing, there's a scene you might have seen, I went into a bar with some of my relatives and had my first English pint in a long time, and it was a thing called London Pride. Now look at this, I found a bottle of London Pride in a local supermarket. And the thing is, because it's British beer, it should be served at room temperature. But because it's so, and I won't say it's hot because you're always telling me off for saying it's hot. But yeah, it's hot here. So I had to put this in the cooler just for a while. So it's at about English room temperature now. So I guess it's ready to drink. Anyway. Ah, oh, I'll tell you what, that one bottle just fits in there. Actually, it smells a bit funny. Maybe I didn't clean this properly, I don't know. There's a bit of a funny smell coming out of that. That's not the beer. I'm going to change this glass. I think I didn't wash the glass. I think I was mixing paint in this yesterday. And then it was back to work. But surprisingly, the list of things to be done suddenly got a lot shorter. And then she was ready. She wants to get away. You want to go to sea, don't you, Shaddy? We're going. Now. It's early. Too early, some would say. And the reason for that is I'm just prepping the boat for getting out of here. She's ready. I'm ready. We're not doing the big push yet. I'm sailing to Panama City to shake down the boat and me, because I haven't sailed for 6 months of this boat. I unraveled the mainsail the other day to see if there's any animals living in it. There weren't, and everything looks good. So had a few drinks with friends of mine last night at the bar back there. So yeah, it's weird. 6 months here. I make friends with the stray dogs that come around here. There's a little group of them, they're great. I had to say goodbye to them as well as everybody else. This is my favourite marina dog. She's sleepy. Do something for the camera. Yes, yeah. You have a good life, yeah? The sadness of a single-handed sailor, yeah. Anyway, I hope Shaddy's going to be okay. I don't see why not. Well, let's not tempt fate. Yeah, she's ready. Am I? That's the point. That's Easy Mike. So named because he's so easy and cool. So easy. Hey, Daddy! Right, let him go. Yeah, pull my bow in if you can a little bit. Good to be back at sea again, albeit under power with no sails up. For the moment we're more or less into the wind, although that might change and I might get a bit of a sail later. Now left the marina well behind us. A lot of development along here. Brand new high-rise buildings and resorts, but most of them are empty. It's the weekend and there's no one out in the water but me. There's not one person walking along on the beaches. Nothing happening. Enormous potential down this part of the coast of Panama. but it's almost like they started to run before they could walk. Even though places like that appear to be empty, it's set in the most beautiful surroundings with mountains behind, and here a beach that must be 5 miles long, just white sand with a mountain behind it and nobody on it. That is absolutely beautiful. I'd get a bit closer for a look, but it's quite shallow over there. That's Bird Poop Island up there. We've been there before. I'm heading up there, but not going to stay there. I'm trying to clear a headland, which is off to my port here, to get to another island down there, which is closer to Panama City, where I'm going back to. Got a couple of things to do before I check out. Trying to hold the camera steady. Yeah, there's a low-lying headland over there, and I'll give that a wide berth because I don't know how shallow it is. Just off the front there. But what a lovely day. Of course, we're out at sea, the humidity's a lot less. It's warm, but it ain't blisteringly hot like it was in the marina. And I'm just looking at the open sea there and hoping, if all goes right, very soon me and the Shadmeister are going to be heading out that way into the big blue. Set off at 8 this morning, or just after. It's now around about 4 o'clock, and there is the island Toboga. It's the one that had all the loud music in a few episodes ago. We're going to stay in the same anchorage tonight. It's just outside of Panama City, and just to the left you can see ships now just queuing up, waiting to go down through the canal, the Panama Canal. This might look a bit ridiculous. It's an old Arab headdress I got, and the reason they wear stuff like this in the Middle East is it shades you from the sun. I was getting so burnt because I don't have electronic steering on the boat, and I'm not sailing. The wind vane steering isn't working too well. It doesn't with the propeller because of the spin of the propeller and stuff. So I have to do a lot of hand steering, and I've got an extra bimini up, but I was getting seriously burnt. So I got trousers on right now. I got my hippie trousers on and my Arab headdress. So hey, it's doing the job, I tell you. I was getting a bit yuck, and I thought, I can't stop. There's no one else on board who could take over for me. So anyway, another 40 minutes and anchor down and beer, all being well. At anchor at last. Got most of the chain out. It's a little choppy here. We're bouncing a little. It's open to the sea, and we're facing the land, which is not always good. There's actually a sand spit there which connects to another bay, so it would be a soft landing if we drifted back, but hopefully not. Ropes and ropes everywhere. From 6 months of being tied up at the pontoon in the marina. It's just dumped on the deck. I'll sort that out once I get to the city and safely anchored. When I arrived, there were a few party boats left, making that dreadful noise, but they've gone now. There's just a couple left, and they're being quiet. I guess they're having their evening meal or something, which is what I'm doing on my second anchor beer. Well, that's the evening beer actually, and something yummy in the pan, and the end of the day. And it's the next morning. Spent a rather bumpy night back there in the anchorage. It looks all placid now, but it wasn't last night. And placid is what we've got this morning. I couldn't have asked for a better morning. It took me a while to get the anchor up. I put an anchor down, got a mud pie back, but that's all good. And there's the end of what is basically a breakwater. It was made during the time of the canal, and we're going around the other side of that to an anchorage. This actually is the big boats, if you like, anchorage. It's where the ships stop, awaiting their paperwork and permissions to go through the canal. You can just see the city of Panama there in the distance, and just off to the left, where the hills are, is the entrance to the Panama Canal. Got the old Arab headdress on this morning, keeping me cool, and lots and lots of cream on. I was burnt yesterday after, I think the passage was something like 9 hours in the sun, and it was hot. I couldn't really leave the helm pretty much for more than a few minutes during the passage, so I got really burnt. I'm like a typical Englishman abroad, red. So yeah, covering up today, otherwise I'm going to regret it, because I'm a bit thin on top, and it's the ears and everything gets burnt. So yeah, well covered up. I think I might have him for lunch. He's a little bit soft. I think I've left him out in the sun too long. Apart from watching out for ships here, and they're going slowly because they're just coming off or going on to anchor, the next biggie to watch out for is just over here, is the actual channel leading to the canal. And at certain times of the day it's very busy with huge ships, because there are actually two canals now. They built a second canal that they opened just a few years ago for like super tankers and things like that. Forget what you might have learnt in captain's school or whatever courses you took to have a license of some kind on a boat, which is always a good idea. Here it's a different rule. They're all bigger than you. You're the one that has to get out of their way. When you see a ship like this guy, for example, you've got to make sure if you know if he's moving or not. In most situations I would always go behind him. Always, always, always. That's behind a ship is the best place to be, never in front. But in this case he's definitely anchored and I need to be up there. So we're going to pass just in front of him, but with enough room to get out of his way in case he decides to up anchor. Generally when a ship's about to move, you'll see smoke coming out of the funnel. Not always, but sometimes. That's an example there. If I can hold the camera still, these are ways off, so it's no problem for me, look. I like this guy here. He's like the sort of the old shoddy one of the group. He reminds me of those old tramp steamers from the 1940s and 50s. Of course I wasn't there at the time, but I've seen it in movies. I know. Having crossed the Panama Canal, or rather the entrance to it, we're at the end of the causeway. This is the island on the end, and right in front of us is Panama City. Last time I saw this view, I didn't see it because it was dark. I was coming in, I just come through the canal. I got a couple of crew on board and we were going to find our way to the anchorage, which is through there. Ah, guess who? Hey! Wow, you got no water here! And then we decided to do what all cruisers do in a situation like this, is go for a run ashore and find ourselves a nice night out somewhere. This time we were going to an English pub in the city. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this episode. This is the last episode of this season. I'm going to take a short break, a bit of a sailor's rest. Going to be doing a lot more filming for a brand new series of adventures, which will start hopefully at the beginning of 2019. In the meantime, don't forget to turn on your notifications for this channel so you'll know when I'm back. I will be posting when I can on Facebook for real-time updates. Patreon, thank you again to my wonderful patrons who've been such great help, especially over the last few months. Thank you so much. If you're interested, check out my Patreon page. I'm also on Instagram. Again, thank you for watching this series. I love you. I couldn't do it without you. I'll be back soon. Take care. We've got a lot of things to done today, and yesterday was up. But Placid is what we got. We got, what's the name of that? Is the entrance to the Panama. The problem I've got, oh hang on, what was that on? Yeah.